In this video, we're going to walk through the making of this very striking looking side table, which will surely be a conversation piece in my home. The table itself is surprisingly not that difficult or expensive to make with the right tools. If you want to make one for yourself, I'm going to link to everything you need in the video description down below. So let's get started. Now, just a moment ago, I mentioned that the table itself is not very expensive to build. However, I did use a fairly expensive tool in this case, and that would be the xTool P3. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to use the xTool P3 to recreate this project, but if you are looking for the king of CO2 lasers right now, look no further than the P3. This is another incredible machine from xTool, and I'm going to have a full-length video coming out about it soon. And in those videos, I usually walk through more of the technical aspects of the machine, as well as the setup and all of the details that you would need to get started with the P3. And if you're here and you're new to this channel, then you'll also know that in those videos, I also often introduce upgrades and accessories specific to those machines. For example, I have these low profile 90-degree hose adapters that will fit directly onto the back of the xTool P3, as well as some other xTool machines like the F1 Ultra, F2 Ultra, and their IF2 and AP2 fume extraction systems. I also have other adapters that will allow you to connect a very common 4-inch duct hose to those exact same xTool machines. And that's exactly the setup that I'm using in this video. So I have the xTool black hose connected directly to the back of the P3 with a 90-degree adapter, so I can push the machine up very close to the wall. And then I've got the IF2 with this 4-inch adapter, pushing all of those fumes through a much longer hose run out one of my doors. Now, if you do have multiple machines, I have things like hose splitters as well as shutoff gates, and I'm going to flash those up on the screen right now. And I'm covering all of this for two reasons. And the first one is that your fume extraction system is a critical tool. Your workspace will very quickly fill with smoke and fumes from cutting wood and acrylic, and that's not good for your health, so you should definitely do something about it. And the second reason is that these products are one of the ways that I keep the lights on around here. So whether or not you got the P3 or the xTool S1, F1 Ultra, F2 Ultra, or the predecessor to the P3, which would be the P2 or the P2S, I have all of these custom adapters and so much more that you'll find on my website, embracemaking.com. So please go check that out. And finally, before we move on to the actual build, I was originally going to use the P3 to make one of these ladder shelves. I had already run some tests, and the P3 could very easily cut through some 3/4-inch maple plywood in a single pass, but there were some extra woodworking steps that I just don't have the appropriate space for inside of my studio, and I had planned on doing it outside in my backyard, but then this happened. And so while I wait for all of that to melt, we'll deal with this project first, and we'll get to the ladder shelf a little bit later. So if you guys want to see that build, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. So how this all started was that I was cruising through the aisles at my local IKEA, and I had come across one of these very, let's say, underwhelming looking side tables. However, the price was right, and I did see the potential in this table. And I also noticed that it was available in 3 other colors. So I figured this would make the perfect foundation for this build, and I brought home what IKEA calls the dark gray beige color. I thought it would look nice with the other materials that I'm going to be using in this project, and one other cool feature about this table is that the top is removable, kind of like a serving tray. And that makes it very easy to implement the first step of the build, which is to install an LED strip. I went with a 5mm wide COB or COB LED strip, and I made sure it had an adhesive backing as well as running off of 5 volts. Now, in order to install this, what you're going to need to do is to drill a single hole into the bottom of this tray as close as you can near the edge. I would recommend using a step drill bit if you can, otherwise you might have more cleanup work to do. The hole should be about 6mm or roughly a 1/4 inch in diameter in order to pass the LED strip through the bottom. In an ideal world, if you do have a grommet that you can install, it will protect those wires from rubbing against the metal edge, and you might have to just drill a slightly larger hole. So I would recommend doing that if you can. You can see that I've fed the LED strip through the bottom of the tray, and I'm using the adhesive backing on the LED strip to attach it to the edge of the tray. However, that adhesive on the strip that I got was not very good, and it was not sticking properly. Luckily, I did have some 3M double-sided tape, So I went ahead and lined the bottom inside edge of the tray with the tape, and then I was able to stick the LED strip to that. And you can see right now that I'm powering the strip on and just testing it. I've got it plugged into a USB power bank. And I specifically went with this style of LED strip because, as you can see, it provides a very nice uniform light as opposed to the other LED strips with the discrete LEDs where you might see a bunch of the individual LED light sources. Now we've got the LED set up, we need something that will glow. And for that, I've got this 1/4 inch thick cast acrylic sheet. And before we put this into the P3 for cutting, you will want to peel off and remove the protective brown film. And this sheet of acrylic is 18 inches by 24 inches, and as you can see, it very easily fits inside of the xTool P3. The P3 has a really big processing area, which is nice because in most cases you won't need to use the material feeder. However, in the event that you need to do something really huge, it still does support a material feeder, and that's another thing that I'm going to get to in a future video. And in terms of the workflow of this machine, it's really amazing. You just place the material inside. The camera is on the underside of the lid, so it takes a really nice aerial shot of your workspace from up above. And because the camera is so high up on that lid while it's open, you're not really dealing with the inaccuracies of trying to take that snapshot with a wide angle lens with the lid closed, because that often results in a distorted looking image and it becomes much more difficult to try and place your graphics. And so as you can see right now, I'm working inside of xTool Studio, and I'm going to select my material in the material library. And I had mentioned that I'm using 1/4 inch thick clear acrylic, and it actually does appear in this list. It's right there, but for some reason I had missed that, and I went ahead and just selected the 3mm clear acrylic, and then went ahead and adjusted the power and speed settings to make sure that I would cut clean through the 6mm acrylic. So don't be like me and just look a little bit harder, because xTool does have you covered with presets for the 1/4 inch thick or 6mm thick acrylic. Now, in terms of the graphic that I'm about to cut, this is the first of 6 layers, and this graphic design is something that I had purchased off of Etsy. I have no affiliation with the artist, but I will put a link in the video description down below. Vector files were provided in SVG as well as Adobe Illustrator format, amongst others, so I was very easily able to edit them and make them the correct size. You'll notice that the outer shape is just a circle, and these tables are just shy of 18 inches in diameter. So again, I was able to just resize those graphics accordingly. The first, or the bottom-most layer in that design, is the one that we are going to be cutting right now in acrylic, and that's so we can get the glowing effect from the LEDs in the bottom-most layer of the table. So even though I have all of the other layers imported into a single project inside of xTool Studio, I have all of those other layers disabled right now for their output. All of the other 5 layers will be processed in 3mm thick basswood, and we're going to get to that in a moment. Right now I've just got a few shots here of the P3 very easily cutting right through that 6mm thick acrylic. And if you haven't noticed, based on the badge right on top of the tool head, this is an 80-watt CO2 laser, so this thick of acrylic doesn't stand a chance. That being said, you can use one of xTool's other machines like the P2 or P2S. Those ones are sitting around 50 watts of CO2 laser power, and those would also make it through a 6mm sheet of clear acrylic without issue. So while the P3 is an incredible machine, it's not within everyone's budget. Obviously, this is a very high-end CO2 laser. So if you are currently an xTool P series machine owner, you can complete this project or something like it with one of those other machines as well. Pulling the workpiece out of the P3, you can see all of the pieces have cut clean through. Some of them will take a little bit of pushing, but there were no sections or little tabs that were still attached. The kerf is just very, very small, so all the pieces sit in there nice and tight. So if you were doing something else like a stained glass effect where you wanted to fill some of these gaps in with another color of acrylic, you wouldn't even have to really calculate any sort of an offset. It seems like you could cut right on the line and those other pieces would fit in super tight. So that's just something to think about for future projects. But for now, we're on to the next layers. And this is where I mentioned that all of the next 5 layers are going to be made from this 3mm thick basswood material. And I sourced these discs, these round 18-inch discs, off of Amazon. I will link to them in the video description down below if the listing is still up. However, you may have noticed there that they were very warped. They came out of the package in the shape of a Pringle, so I had to use the hold down clips included with the P3 to hold the edges down and keep the workpiece flat. So this did work fine for me, but I still would recommend, if you have a reliable source for thin wood sheets, that you use those sources instead. At this point inside of xTool Studio, all I've done is disable the previous layer's output. I've moved on to the second layer, and now I've also changed the material to the 3mm thick basswood plywood. And I've not made any changes to the material preset parameters inside of xTool Studio. xTool has been working on their material preset library for quite some time now, and they've got an extensive list of materials for all of their machines, even for the new ones like the P3. And while this job is processing, one thing that's super cool is on the processing screen inside of xTool Studio, you can actually see what appears to be a live video feed from one of the cameras inside of the machine. Now, as you might expect, the P3 makes very quick and easy work of the 3mm thick basswood. The cuts are very clean and precise, and this material is not at all a challenge for this machine. And I know some of you guys like to skip through these videos, so if you did miss it earlier on, I had mentioned that there is another project that I want to take on where I will be cutting some shelves out of 3/4 inch thick, and that's 19mm maple plywood. And I've already run the tests on that, and the P3 can cut through that in a single pass. And as you might imagine, that much thicker material is going to require slower speeds and higher powers, so it does result in a much more blackened and charred edge. But for thinner stuff like this 3mm thick basswood, it's very clean and effortless cuts, and there really is, in my opinion, no requirement for post-processing cleanup of those edges. The P3 has air assist amongst many other features built in, such as flame detection, which did come in handy when I was testing that 3/4 inch maple plywood, and all of the settings for those are automatically controlled by xTool Studio software, as well as the firmware that's built into the P3. Even the xTool IF2, which is their inline exhaust fan that I had showed you earlier, that connects directly to the P3 with Bluetooth, and the fan speed is automatically adjusted based on the type of material that you're processing. And so while I've been going on about the P3, you can see in the video that I've gone ahead and processed all 5 of the other layers of this design, each again on the 3mm thick basswood, and I'm pulling all of those designs out right now. And progressively, as we go through each layer, as we get towards the top of the design, all of those layers get thinner and thinner. And this is kind of the basic premise of this design, where each layer stacks one on top of the other, very similar to the mandala, I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it, laser cut patterns that you've probably seen many people do. And those same mandala patterns would be excellent candidates for tables like this, and I'm probably going to make a second table with one of those patterns and perhaps try something different, like using different colored acrylics or perhaps even painting the different layers of wood. But for this project, now that we have all of our layers, you can see that I put the first one in, which was the clear acrylic. I went ahead and tested the LED strip. It lights up very nice. And now I'm placing all of the other layers one on top of the other, and I had also made some alignment pegs. Now those pegs were not part of the initial design that I had downloaded. I added those circles into the vector design afterwards, and I just 3D printed some pegs, but you could use wooden dowels instead, and I didn't have any dowels on hand, so again, that's why I 3D printed them. I stopped the dowel holes at the very last layer so you don't see them, and if you want to keep things aligned permanently, you can of course use some wood glue and just glue all of the layers together. And finally, again, I've connected the LED strip to a USB power bank to test it, and you may have also noticed that I put another sheet of 6mm thick clear acrylic on top of the whole thing, and that would act as the tabletop. In my opinion, acrylic is not a great choice for a tabletop because I do think it will scratch very easily. I'm in the process of investigating getting a custom piece of glass cut for this, but it just wasn't ready in time for the rest of this video. And lastly, the final thing to do is take care of the wiring at the bottom. I've gone and tied off all of the loose and excess wires using some cable ties, as well as some of these adhesive cable tie clips. The LED controller with the power and dimming buttons is very accessible near the edge of the table. Now you have the option of powering this thing with a USB wall plug, but of course then you will see the wire coming out. So your second option is to power it using a power bank. And the table itself is just made of powder coated steel. So if you do get a magnetic power bank, which again I will link to in the video description down below, you can stick that and hide it away right on the bottom of the table, leaving your project looking completely wireless. And that's definitely my preference, as the look remains very clean and you don't see any wires sticking out anywhere. So that is it for this build. Let me know what you guys think. And remember that these IKEA tables do come in different colors, so you can explore your various options. And you have the option of cutting any pattern that you want, painting them, perhaps layering different colors of wood or acrylic, and hopefully you'll achieve the look that you're after. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to check the video description down below for all of the links that you'll need for this project, as well as many of the affiliate links to the various xTool products that I used in this video. Those affiliate links will cost you nothing extra, but they financially support this channel and all of the work that goes into these videos and these projects. Finally, be sure to subscribe so that I'll see you guys next time.